Good morning. Good evening. Good evening, healthy friends, and welcome to the Healthy Hangout. So happy you are here. And there are new people here, which is great. And veterans are here too. So it's welcome everybody. Tonight we are going to hear from Jada. She's going to present about staying in forward momentum. And before she does, she's going to introduce her testimonial and take it away, Jada.
Thank you. I think one of the best things about Optavia is that you're not alone when you're doing the program. And especially through the Healthy Hangout here, I have met some of the most wonderful people ever. And one of those is going to share her testimonial tonight, and that is Pam Clark. And before she starts, oops, wait a minute. Let me do a screen share. And are you seeing Pam? This lady is just amazing, and I want her to share her testimonial about her experience with the program. And Pam, I'm gonna take this down where they'll see you a little bit more. But please share your testimonial and your experience with us.
Everybody. So like everybody else here, I struggled with my weight for most in and out for most of my life growing up. Probably between my ages of 20 and 30, I thought I had a handle on it. I looked good on the outside, but I didn't have a healthy approach to weight loss during that time. I looked good, but I did some very bad things to get to that point. And you probably all can relate to that at some point in your life, from peer pressure and wanting to be thin and look like the magazines. When we were younger, we didn't know better. So I have a long history with trying weight loss plans, and I've done them all. So you could shout them out. I've raised my hand to every one of them because I've done them. And I was what you call a Weight Watchers frequent offender. I would go and I'd lose weight and I'd be on a tear and I'd show up every meeting. And then the minute that scale stopped, I stopped showing up, and you know what happens. But anyway, my journey came to Optavia. I'm 52 years old. I'm a bedside nurse. I work nights. I was carrying around about probably 65 pounds more than I should on my frame. And for a while, I was handling it. I was dealing with it, but things started to happen with my body hormonally. I was going through some changes, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I had aches and pains that I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't from working out or doing anything different. Everything from my fingertips to my elbows to my shoulders to my back ached constantly, and it was really distressing. So I was trying to figure out, I knew bottom line, it's got to be my weight, but I understood the back, the hips. Why were my shoulders hurting? I don't carry my weight on my shoulders. So it was kind of really baffling. Went to some doctors, and I knew, well, you need to lose some weight. So their suggestion to me, which was very fleeting, was, try higher protein, try cutting your carbs, try working out more. I didn't feel like doing any of that. I needed a structure. I needed something that told me how to eat. Weight Watchers worked for me for years till it didn't. And a big part of it was because I never really learned how to eat and the balance that was required. If I could fit a donut into my 26 points, by God, it was happening. And, and we had to do better than that. And so long story short, I'm on Facebook and I see a friend of mine. You may all know her, Bonnie Owen. And Bonnie's posting pictures like every couple of weeks, and Bonnie's shrinking. And I see it. She's not saying anything, but I see it because I watch everything. And you know how we women are. We start seeing someone shrinking, we start watching. And I'm like, what is she doing? And I'm going back in her Facebook page. I'm like, she's losing weight. Oh my gosh. And then she posted a before and after. And she was someone that I knew for years, but I just kind of lost touch with and would just see on Facebook. So of course I reached out to her right away and I said, girl, I got to know what you're doing. And she reached out to me and she was like, oh, I have to share with you this amazing plan. And at that point, I was pretty desperate. She told me a little of her story, what was going on with her. It was very similar to what I was feeling as well. And I was like, yeah, I need this. I need help. So her coach, Trina, got on the phone with Bonnie and I and walked me through exactly what this plan was going to consist of and how it worked. And Trina said, go get your credit card. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, we're doing this. Okay. So grabbed my purse, ran past my husband with my purse, ran into my closet, shut the door, because if he heard me buy one more weight loss thing, he was going to probably divorce me. So here I'm in the closet, reading off my credit card number really quiet. So, he wouldn't hear. Of course, then when I come back out, he's like, why are you in the closet with your purse? Don't worry about it. I'm good. So box shows up, I get on plan. And miraculously, within about 4 days, and no lie, 4 days, right into fat burn, my body started to change. The weight loss was there, I knew that, but the physical pains that I was having were almost gone within 4 days. And that blew my mind. And that gave me such hope. 4 days in, working night shift, jumping out of bed, raring to go. That hadn't been me in years. So to have this experience in such a short time was so amazing. And I really believe it, it was the fat burn, it's the detox, it's getting off the carbs and really eating the healthiest way possible was really the huge contributor. But I have to say, what put that spring in my step too was the hope it gave me. I had hope again. I had hope that this was going to work. I was going to make it work. I had the backing of an amazing coach and friend, and I was going to do this. And, was my journey like, easy peasy, no problem? No, there were days that I, sat down on my leaning green and pouted, it's like, I want this, but I did it because I knew the benefits of it. And you'd be amazed at how quickly you get over that when you just eat it, shut up, and move on. It really has to become part of that. It has to become part of your lifestyle. And you have to understand that you need to take this like medicine, and you need to do it. Because the health benefits that I gained just by releasing myself of what I thought was fibromyalgia, it was so bad, was worth every minute. I lost 65 pounds in 5.5 months. And I feel great. I don't have those aches and pains. Now I'm going into those female, sorry for the men on here, but, going into menopause, but I'm not having nearly any of the problems that I had read about, researched about, that I would have had 65 pounds ago. And I'm so grateful for that. And I move good, and I heal good, and I feel good. So it's just been an amazing plan. And I just, anybody who's struggling, keep going. It's so worth it. Even when you think you're not seeing the results, they're happening. And, at first I only lost 6 pounds in the first week, and I was like, and that's terrible. That's me. That's a bad mindset right there. I had a lot of fixing to do, which really, the plan helped me with that as well. But I blinked and I was 65 pounds down in 5 months, 5.5 months. So it works. You just got to hang tight. And I can't say enough good things. And I love sharing it with people. And I thank every day for Bonnie sharing it with me. And, it's been a great journey.
We're really happy that you are here with us because you're an awesome, you're a coach, an awesome coach too,
Thank you.
well as a
I enjoy
wonderful
it.
friend to so many of us. So we're happy you're here. And Jada, you've got some
Yes,
presenting to do.
I do. So I'm going to screen share again. And let's see here. Okay, so I've got 5 questions up on the screen, and it says who, why, where, what, and when. But what I want to talk about tonight is structural tension. And if you've spent some time in your life book, you may already be familiar with that term, but I'm going to assume that you haven't and that you're not. So we all came into this program with changes that we needed or wanted to make. Most of the time it's a need. I think a lot of folks enter the program because of, like Pam was talking about, pain or blood pressure medicines or things just not being as easy as it used to be. In the Life book and in Habits of Health, Dr. A talks about structural tension. And structural tension is just the difference between an outcome that we want and our current reality, where we're at right now. And I hope you can see, I want you to think about it like a rubber band. If we were to attach this rubber band to a fixed point, and then we were back here, you see the amount of tension that's on it. So the further away that we are from that point, the greater the tension, the greater the pull. If you can, grab a pen and piece of paper, because this is going to be a little bit interactive. You don't have to share anything you're writing down, but I do want you to write down if you can. And I want us to think about this difference between our current reality and where we want to be in terms of those 5 questions of who, why, where, what, and when. The who, the answer, of course, is me. But we have to stop allowing distractions from life to pull our focus away from what is going on in our current reality. How many of you just woke up one morning and you were like, you saw a picture that someone had taken of you, or you looked in the mirror one day, or you went to put on a pair of pants, and it's like, heavenly days, when did this get too tight? Or, oh my word, is that really me in that picture? Because so many things are going on, we don't take an inventory of what is happening in our current reality. So until we accept the responsibility or the reality of our current situation, we can't take that next step. So it's important, what is the situation in the reality of me right now? So just kind of, think about where am I right now? If we were on a trip, on a journey, we're going to want to know where we're starting from if we're going to figure out where we're going to go. Growth is painful. Change is painful. But I love this. Nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Think about why you don't belong where you are right this minute. For me, it was being 70 pounds heavier on a 5'5" frame and having blood pressure problems, and like Pam was having, a lot of pain and just a whole lot of unhealthy mindset. That wasn't where I belonged, and I knew that. I didn't want that to be my reality. So if I make a description of what it looks like where I belong, what I wanted when I came into the program was to be able to get up and down out of the floor with my grandchildren without having to hold to the furniture. I wanted to be able to go camping and set up the camping equipment without being exhausted by the time I got done. I wanted to be more active, but honestly, I lacked the energy and the initiative to actually get out and do the gardening and the yard stuff that I really enjoy doing. So when I write down my where I belong, those are the things that I want to include. Is those are the things that I want to be able to do. That's my why. That's what kept me focused on this program and what continues to propel me toward the healthier version of me. Because, I mean, am I further along now than I was a year and a half ago? Absolutely. But I haven't arrived yet. Where do we want to be? What does the desired result look like? And this is a question that I pose to the folks that I'm doing a health assessment for. If anything was possible, where do you want to be when you reach your goal? When I started the program, Krista is my coach. And when Krista posed that question, I said, oh, well, I'd really just like to lose about 20 pounds. Now, mind you, I'm quite a bit more than 20 pounds overweight, but I was just going to be happy if I lost 20 pounds. And she posed that question to me of, if anything were possible, what would you want to do? And I said, oh, well, if anything were possible, maybe 60 pounds. So if anything was possible, where do you want to be? The danger for most of us isn't that our aim is too high and we miss it, but it's too low and we reach it. You know, really think about where is it that you'd like to be at the end of this season. What do I need to do to get my desired result? If you set small goals and make sure you hit them, and this is something that Dr. A stresses all throughout the life book, micro habits, little habits that you can do. He talked about in exercise that, you know, walking 3 miles might be a goal. That might be something that we'd like to do. When I started this program, could I walk 3 miles? No. Could I walk 3 blocks? Probably not. So what could I do? And making those little goals along the way. And as we hit those small goals, it eventually just becomes like a snowball. Those secondary choices really grow into something very wonderful over time. And this is our where, you know, how we're going, how we're moving. It's important for us to hit those small goals hour by hour, day by day, choice by choice. And sometimes it is an hour by hour thing. You know, it's 2 hours and it's going to be 2 hours until I fuel again. And I ate a piece of cake last weekend and I'm not in fat burn, so I'm hungry. Then I have to make that choice. Do I want to get back into fat burn? Do I want to get to my goal, or what are we going to do here? Don't become overwhelmed by the distance of where you want to be, but just make those little choices along the way. And the win is now, but it's again tomorrow, and it's again the next hour, and it's again the next minute. We're always one decision away from a totally different life. When we take that thought of where we want to be and keep that tension working towards that fixed point. Here's something that I know about human nature, you know, with this rubber band. Our goal needs to be a fixed point. And then the tension, if it's a fixed point, the tension is going to work towards that fixed point. Does that make sense? But what we tend to do is we want to move the fixed point. And that doesn't get us where we really belong, where we really need to be. Don't allow that point to move of your goal. Instead, allow that tension to bring you towards that goal. There was a little quote that I saw. So how many more confirmations do you need for what you already know? Many of us on this Zoom tonight already know this program works. It works. But it works to the extent that we work it. Taking action on the answers to our questions on our why, moving towards that why, that fixed point where we really belong. We need to focus on that. And I use the analogy, if you're on a journey, you want to start out knowing where you are before you get on the road, right? So that's looking at our current reality. But once you begin, you're not sitting looking back over your shoulder at where you've already been. Instead, you're focused on, where am I headed? Where is this road taking me? You check your footing if you're on foot. And those are the secondary choices. As we move along, we're checking to make sure, am I getting these little steps in between that are going to lead me to where I want to go?
You're muted, Jada. Jada, you're muted.
I don't know how that happened. Okay, let me just read it to you. When you decide to go after a new dream, You need to give less to your current reality and more to your desired reality. Take your energy of what you don't want to be doing anymore so you can put it in what you really want to be doing. You know, so many of us, we beat ourselves up. We shame ourselves if we have a mess up or a slip up. And I tell clients all the time, okay, if you mess up, no, that's not great. I would rather you didn't, and you would rather you didn't. But if you do, you don't start back the next day or the next week. You start back the next fueling time. You get back on and you begin that journey again, and you allow that fixed point to continue to pull you towards your goal, towards where you want to be. Because every single one of us on here, if we're struggling with our health, then we're not living life to our fullest potential. We're not where we need to be. And it has become a passion of mine, both for myself and for other people, to see us become the very best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, the happiest, the biggest influence for positive in the world, the biggest influence in other people's lives, and just to be a bright spot for ourselves and for others. We need to be our best version, and it's not just physical. I've spoken a couple of times this year, and I've said that, last year was a very big year for me for change for physical. And then I hit the end of the year, and we moved my father-in-law in with us and had just a whole lot of topsy-turvy in the household. And what that did was it brought to my consciousness, my awareness, how many things are not healthy in here. And so that's been my focus for this year so far, is working. And I've noticed I'm getting healthier physically as I do, but mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, all of those things, and financially healthy. So as we're continuing to move towards the very best version of ourselves, we can continue to set that band in a fixed spot and continue to move. And if we hit a goal and the tension's lax, set another goal, set another place, another version of ourselves that we'd like to be. And don't give up. Don't give up. You've started a journey that can mean so much to you and to your family, your loved ones. Don't stop. And stay close to your coach when you're having trouble keeping that tension on that band. Don't run from your coach. It's nature sometimes for us to withdraw when we screw up. Don't. Lean in close to your coach and allow them to give you the support and the encouragement. If we could have done it by ourselves, we'd have done it before now, y'all. So we need this community. We need our coaches. We need that support. So lean in rather than allowing things to kind of push you away from where you wanted to go. Any comments or thoughts? I'm a few minutes early getting done.
Jada, that was amazing. I mean, that was so much. The whole thing about the structural tension, we use that a lot. And I have to admit, I wasn't quite sure what that meant exactly. And your analogies and how we try to move that point closer to us to make it easier versus spot on. I mean, just what a great topic. You did a great job.
I had heard in one of our another one of our trainings that with regard to structural tension, that when you're, and I have a rubber band here, it actually says structural tension on it, is that when you get to about 80% to your goal is when you should start thinking about what the next milestone is that you want to reach, so that you don't get all the way to the bend, but you keep pulling it and you keep, so you about 80% of the way there, start thinking about what's the next thing, so that you keep yourself constantly looking forward.
Moving. Yes. Yes. And if you think about it, when I get this thing, it doesn't go piece to piece. So when your rubber band doesn't have tension on it, that 80%, then that's when you need to find another point of attachment and allow it to continue to pull. Um, and that desired outcome is going to be different for every one of us, and that's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing, that there's a place and a purpose and an influence that each one of us has that's a little bit different. And I just think to be able to share that within this community, and I know this is kind of a soapbox a little bit, but the community, when I said that the community had meant so much to me, that several of these ladies and guys are on this Zoom have meant so much to me in the last year and a half. And without that kind of support and encouragement, an occasional message on Messenger, the phone call every once in a while, or just little things that we've done to encourage one another. But you don't have that if you don't participate and get to know folks. So, please let me encourage you, if you're new on here, get into the Zooms as much as you can, because it's just such a positive influence, and we need that. We really do need that.
Jada, thank you so, so much. Pam, awesome story.
Thank
I'm
you,
going to picture
Pam.
you in the credit card in the closet when I see you now, and if I ever meet your husband. But Jada, that was so, so great. And thank you so much for sharing that. What we'll do now is, if you are a coach, you're going to stay on. And if you're a client, we're going to say bye, to see you next week. And so come back next week for another presentation. I think it's going to be Dot. I don't think she's here right now, but she's so great.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. So thank you. So coaches, stay on, all right?